Hi, this is Mary Kay. I'm going to demonstrate a painting of the pelicans feeding. I'm going to take a few minutes to talk to you about how I'm thinking about setting this up. First of all, there's two types of tracing paper. There is one that is kind of dark and greasy, and it is not water soluble. So that mark goes down. When you put your water over it, it stays. Then there's this one that is water soluble. It's water soluble graphite. So when I draw with this and I put the water over it, it's going to disappear. So for this painting today, I'm going to be using both. I'm going to start with this water soluble paper. And this picture here is of Surfers Beach from the parking lot where they have the RVs. I don't like these big rocks in front. I feel like it stops my eye from going into the painting. So I'm going to leave those out. But right in here, you can just see one of these. In this spot, there is a set of rocks that are underneath, and they're covered in starfish, and they go in and out with they get covered up and shown by the tides. So I'm going to start. I want somebody to tell me the name of this mountain, because I've been trying to figure this out for a long time. I think that this is beautiful. I see it every day. This is where I live. And then I'm just drawing in this mountain too. And then I'm going to draw in the set of trees back behind El Granada. And here's the dunes. Here's the breakwater. Well, not really the breakwater, but the rocks they have so that Highway 1 doesn't get, yeah, I guess that is the breakwater. And then here is the sand. And then I'm going to put in some buildings. Here's the masts. And I'm not going to Pebeo these in or anything. I'm just going to leave it a little bit light in that area. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I can see that just fine. I'm going to draw in some of these little white seagulls. And I'm going to just Pebeo in a few of these. Once you learn their shape, you don't have to draw them in. You can just paint them. Now I'm going to switch over to my non-water soluble, and I'm going to put in some of these pelicans because they're dark and I want to get their shape right. It's not that easy to get the shape of a pelican right. I'm going to paint over these dark marks. There's one that's way up here that I love, but it's just too high. It's too high out. So I'm just going to lower that shape and try to just draw it just like I see it, but a little lower. Sometimes the light catches it and it looks like a light beak. If you ever, I just love to watch these. They're so random. And you're going to put in as many. I did that one already. Let me see how these look. Okay. That's a pelican sitting on the water. Okay. These guys are all sitting here. You can see that the light catches their beaks and their pouches. I think that's enough. All right, I'll put more in. I'll paint them in just randomly. So that's the tracing. Now, I want to keep the white birds white, so I'm going to use Pebeo with a good brush. This is diluted shampoo. I'm going to use this number 1 brush. Any size 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 will work. But to save your brush, you have to dip it in the dilute shampoo and rub it through the bristles, and then go into your Pebeo, and I'm just going to paint some of these little white birds. See, now they already, since I've traced them and put them on, they're not, can't really even tell. That was dark, this guy was light. These guys have these white beaks, so I might just put a little bit of Pebeo over that. So those will have the white beaks. This guy has a little white beak on his. They have, yeah, even they're flying, they have the little white part. This guy here. And I'm just wondering if I can't just like splatter some dots on here just to get this feeling that they're kind of everywhere, even in the sky. That didn't splatter. There we go. That was a big blob. Okay, I think I just blot them a little bit even, just. Now, anytime you use Pebeo, it's going to slow down your painting process because you have to let it dry now. Oh, don't forget to rinse out your brush with the shampoo and the Pebeo, or you will ruin your brush. If you can't get it out, try more shampoo, and if that doesn't work, try Goo Gone. So I'm going to dry this right now with a blow dryer. So just go ahead. I don't like this blob up on that one pelican right here. I'm gonna take that off with a piece of masking tape. I don't like that blob. I don't like that blob. I'm not sure I would do this again. Probably won't demonstrate this in class. The speckling, I don't really like how it turned out. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna do is start to paint the sky. So I'm going to use my 3/4 inch flat brush. I'm going to wet the sky. Actually, if I don't go over this too many times, I'm just going to wet all the way down to my shoreline and fill this in. I can still see where most of my marks are. Get my painting back up. That flew away with the blow dryer. So I'm going to start with cerulean blue in the sky. The sky is, I'm not trying to do anything fancy with the sky because it's all about the pelicans. I want those pelicans to be in the sky though, so. And now I'm going to go into some green, that my favorite green to make, which is Antwerp blue and burnt sienna. And I'm going to add a little French to this because the mountains farthest away from us appear more blue than green. Even a little more blue than that. There we go. Yeah, that's the color I want. And when I touch that sky, it's going to blur into it a little bit. Which will hopefully just make it look like fuzzy tree line up there. This comes down, there's fog or mist and pollution that makes it sort of get softer as it comes down lower. And now I have a darker green, so I'm going to add more Antwerp and more burnt sienna and get this a little bit greener, which is this set of mountains here. And then I want to go much greener for this set of trees back there. So that's going to be more Antwerp, more burnt sienna. See if I can get the right color. If I need to add just a touch of yellow, I will, to get this. Is that close? That's pretty close. Might just add some raw sienna to it, see what it does. Okay, I'm gonna try this. So what I'm doing now is I'm gonna just go around these buildings and boats. I can even make my little lines if I'm careful. And I'm just suggesting it rather than really just painting everything. Exactly. Just leaving some white areas to suggest those buildings and masts of the boats. So if I just leave a little white showing, I'll get that feel. And then the top of the dunes is the same color, except it's got even more raw sienna in it. Touch my paper towel, and if I just put this in my dunes right here, coming over the way over here. I might just make this all dunes instead of that breakwater. I can try. Okay, so for now I'm making a little bit of gray with French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and I'm gonna make my breakwater. Just a couple brush strokes. Again, I'm really trying just to suggest something over there, not really painting it exact. The next thing is the sand. And I have found over the years that the best color for sand is raw sienna and burnt sienna mixed together. And I'm going to use a lot of water, so it's going to be just basically tinted water. And I'm just going to try to put this in. This is the dune, and this is the sand on the beach. Go right over that one because I'm going to paint over him with dark colors. And then over here, the sand is wet, so I'm going to make it a little bit more gray. And then I see just the tiniest bit right in here that the sand is wet or the water is receding behind that. And then it's the white water. I like that little touch. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to paint is the water. And I'm going to leave a little white line here. I'm not Pebeoing it in because I think it's too stark if I Pebeo it in. And I'm going to be painting, I'm going to leave a little white spot, and I'm going to paint all the water just down with all horizontal strokes. I see a lot of Antwerp blue right there at the surf. So the Antwerp blue is a blue that has a little bit of green in it. It's a green tinge. And when I put in just a tiny bit of burnt sienna, I get this color here, which is kind of teal. So this is my surf line, which I'm just leaving the paper white. There's surf between the ocean and the sand. This is cold pressed paper, and when I use the belly of my brush and I just go across like this, it skips across the bumps in the paper. I'm going to switch to a slightly different blue now because it's kind of changing as it comes down. I see a lot more French in it now. You can even add some cerulean, just changing the shade of the ocean, which the ocean changes its shade because of the depth of the water and the sunshine. Again, I am painting horizontal. I'm going to go to some more cerulean. I'm using the belly of the brush. Once I've put this down dry and it's kind of scratchy, I can go back over it with the next color, and then it's wet into wet. Just gonna add some more French to that cerulean and just bring this down more. Like I said, I don't like the rocks at the bottom. You can put them in if you want to and see how it looks. Maybe yours will look better than mine with the rocks. Do you see my watermark? My arches watermark. I'm going to go in with some darker blues, which I'm making with French and burnt sienna. And I want to just kind of darken the corners of this painting. Keeps moving. Cut it down. Again, all of these brush strokes are all horizontal. So I have some speckles of sunlight shining. This is all going to mat out here right at the edge, but I do want to paint clear to the edge. I want to sign my name. I'm going to use the beveled edge of this brush. I'm going to sign it I'm going to sign it over here because I don't want to fight the arches. So Mary K. S. period Jolly with a C and a line around it. That half scratched up, but I'm just going to darken it, go over the top of it, and the paint will go right into those marks. So you have to sign it with a signer into wet paint. There, that's good. I like that. Now, I like that rock right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's this one right here. It's the one that has the starfish on it. And it's mostly burnt sienna. And I'm just gonna try to I'm gonna put it in, it's sort of damp. Only the tops of these rocks show. We'll see how this works. Maybe it's not gonna be so great, but I'm gonna give it a try. Again, with rocks, the bottom of the rocks is flat because the water makes the bottom of the rock flat. So only the tops of the rocks are poking out, overlapping. These can go out the page. I have those all exactly little loaves of bread, so I gotta switch these shapes up. Overlapping is good. Okay, I'll take this out. That'll mat out, I think. Okay, those kind of do have all the same shape because I was just sort of copying that one. I'm gonna leave that. Okay, now I need to dry this again so that I can take off the Pebeo and then start putting in the birds. This is an eraser. I don't have my pickup handy. So I know I just put some little white spots on some of these beaks up here. So I'm not gonna be able, anytime you paint over a mark, either kind of pencil, unless it's water soluble, then you're not going to be able to lift that mark. So my little birds, with my little speckles and with the marks, didn't work out that great. Okay, so now I'm going to paint birds. I'm going to go in with my small brush and they're brown pelicans, but mostly they look dark gray. So here we go. I'm just going to start putting in this. See, I actually think it's easier just to not even put these in with the tracing paper. Just start putting your birds in. These pelicans are so funny looking because they kind of look like big mosquitoes with their big beaks. You can see this one here is flying out of the page. So what I'd really like to do is flip it and make it fly into the page, which I don't know how good you are at that. You could always just flip your page over. I'm gonna try it. So it's that way. If I can put this up to the light, I can see it. So its beak is there. Goes like that. And then its That's a big wing. And then this wing here is that shape. Skinny little beak here. There's one going that way, the little thicker wing. And then all these little guys in here. So just put in birds until you feel like you've got enough. You'll know, hopefully you'll know. These right here resting on the water. So again, the bottom of the bird is flat because it hits the water. That one I made a blob. My little white bird's not really showing up very well. I think I'm going to just paint white birds in with my my P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which I don't see where it is right now. It's hiding from me, so I'll get to that later. Okay, so then just, you know, put in birds till your little heart is singing of birds. You can use white paint or you can use your dark paint or both. So great. So great to live here. I can't even see any of the marks that I made with my that's a big weird one that I made with my paper, my tracing paper, so it's hardly worth putting it in, especially in a big class, because then everybody takes more time to do that. I guess we're going to get good at painting birds. Well, I'm going to end here, and I'm going to add some more birds, and hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you later.